Good morning, everyone. Morning, Eamon. How you doing, man? We are back. Back to Termina. Termina. Someone got mad at me for calling it Termina. Hopefully, everyone can hear me okay. Let's see if I'm just talking to myself right now. There we go. Old Wolfman, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Doing good. Contemplating if I'm going to work on my game today or play some more demos. Ooh. Playing games versus making games. That's a rough call. Alright, let's get started. Gotta remember what I'm doing here. Gonna have to cut off a little early today. Got some things to do. I'm taking my family to their global entry appointment because we're doing global entry. So, gonna start that early. How many of these things did I get? It's been a while since we played Majora's Mask, so let me know if all the volume levels and stuff are all right. We got 4 of those. Okay, good. Now we just gotta get the last 3 in Pinnacle Rock. Morning, Tim. So I did play a little bit more of Resident Evil Insanity. I managed to get through the car chase or the car scene, the city scene with Leon, without using a Requiem shot. However, what I learned is that no matter how many Requiem shots you use with Leon, Grace always starts with 1, no matter what. So, there's that. But I did manage to get through it, and it was fun. And then I started playing. How do I die? There we go. Okay, good. And then I started the main game with Grace. I got through the cat and mouse part. Gotten through the cat and mouse part with the girl, and it was a little hard. She's a lot faster in insanity mode, and she kills you in 1 hit, so I died a number of times. But I got through it, because it's not too difficult. And then I started playing, started making my way around the... Okay. I started making my way around the hospital. Aren't I supposed to meet a fish? Like a seahorse who's supposed to guide me? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to meet a fish who's supposed to guide me. I gotta go back. Sorry, it's been a while since I played this game. This game is so many... I know, right? Anyway, getting around the hospital in insanity mode was quite insane. The zombies take way more bullets than you have. You die in 1 hit most of the time. And you know, I just couldn't. I died many times. So I just decided it would be better if I replayed it again on casual mode. That way I could get some more points and get some more bonuses. Help me, please take me to the Steve Pucker Rock. What does he want now? Oh, he wants a picture of one of the Gerudos. That's right, I forgot. Do I have one? I don't think I had to have one. No, okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna play through it kind of on my own time. We will revisit it. My plan right now is to do 2, 2, and 2 for my gaming. Like 2 days of Majora's Mask, which will take me to Saturday. Day off on Sunday. And then 2 days of Metroid Prime 3. And then 2 days of Resident Evil. So Resident Evil will be in the rotation. And then I think what I'm going to do is, once I finish a game, I'll spend a couple weeks in that time slot playing some indie demos, just to kind of get that going. And then we'll pick up a longer game after that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'll do a second part stream. I think he said we'll get into 3 hours tonight. No, I don't think so. Kicking myself for not getting that picture early. But I did listen to 3 reviews of Resident Evil 9. New Game Plus, good to see you. So I listened to 3 reviews. The EFAP guys were extremely critical of it. Not this again. Most of them did not like the game, but they still played it multiple times. One of them enjoyed it, but knew it had its problems. And then I listened to Critical Drinker's review of it, and he was definitely more measured. You know, it's like if you're a fan of the series, play the game. You'll have fun. But it's not without its problems. Most like. Can I go in this way? I don't even know if I can go in this way. I'm sorry, I'm still getting my bearings as to what I what I need to do here. Seek the Sky. Good to see you too. You live. Ow. And then I listened to one review that was just glowing. And it is, if you look on the reviews online for what people think of Resident Evil 9, some people think it's the greatest game ever made. Nerdporial, good to see you. Man, everyone's just coming back. Maybe people just don't like Resident Evil. Gerudo Fortress. Yes, this is the Gerudo Fortress, and I foolishly in my last playthrough forgot, in my last play segment, forgot to capture a picture of a Gerudo pirate. So now I'm in here trying to do that. He's still in the basement. What do you think of it so far? I gave it an 8 out of 10. And on my playing it again, we'll see how that goes. I know my opinion of Metroid Prime 4 definitely diminished the longer I played it, so I'm hoping that that doesn't happen. Did I get the watch? That one of your synthetic man. Okay, where are you posting these videos? Because I go on the Discord and looking for them. They're not sent directly to me, right? I think it took a lot of inspiration. So, yes, I've never played Alien Isolation. I feel like I need to, though, because everyone keeps mentioning it. Definitely there are definitely parts of it that I feel are like that, for sure. Jeez, all of that just to get out here. I thought I could sneak another way in. That's why I went that way. I mean, okay, so, like, I'm gonna try to play this game without talking too much about Resident Evil. There were some critiques on the enemies, which I felt were a little bit overblown. Then there were, I gotta get a picture of one of these gals. The girl patrolling the basement reminds me of the alien patrols. Girl climbs through the whole ceiling and ends up. Alien does the same thing. Oh yeah. Is this called? I think it's called Gerudo Fortress. It could be Gerudo. Where am I? Just, I don't know, the Gerudo Pirate Fortress. Oh, okay, thank you. Does this count? I know this guy's picky, so I have to make sure to... This guard turns around. Pirate Fortress, thank you, New Game Plus. Let's see if I can get a better one. I'm gonna keep it. Find me. Yeah, me too. It has been years since I've played this proper. The title of the video, Resident Evil Requiem, is creatively bankrupt. Still a really good watch. A very good. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, if you want like people in the shorts I posted called me nitpicking Resident Evil 9. But if you want a real nitpick, go watch the 8-hour EFAP guys pick it apart. Some of their critiques I thought were fair, others I thought were a little unfair, but whatever. I don't think the game is the best game ever made. I don't think it's the best Resident Evil. I think that title still belongs to either Resident Evil 4 or the Resident Evil remake for the GameCube. Or the Resident Evil 4 remake, which I haven't played yet, but, you know. Please like this picture. Yeah. Speaking of horror games, there's a concept made by a guy called Super Saucer that I want to make into a real game, but they hadn't had much motivation to work on it. What's the concept? Do share, New Game Plus. Hurry, take me back to Pinnacle Rock. Oh, 4. Oh, for Resident Evil 4? Oh. Oh, for Resident Evil, okay. Yeah, one of the big things that they go into a lot about in, they do complain a lot about the enemies and how the game made the promotional stuff for the game made a big deal about how the zombies retain some of their personality and they do different things and you can manipulate them based on their personality. And there was some of that there, but I think for a lot of them it just wasn't enough. And it is kind of true. It's like the only zombie I really manipulated was the blind one. But apparently the cleaning lady you can manipulate into moving around by way of like making messes and she'll wander around. Well, all that was really publicly shown was a few renders, but I see a lot of potential in it. Oh, let's check it out. I have a request for you. Please follow me. Yeah, they did, like, Capcom for some reason could have gone a lot more in depth into the different, like, behaviors the enemies portrayed, and even some of the pursuer enemies, like the girl. Okay, she shows up in a few different segments, but there even like the chunk enemy, the big fat guy. He's not really a pursuer enemy. He just kind of shows up in certain sections, and they're kind of scripted, and then you can avoid him quite easily. So he pops up from, like, I think twice, and then you can take him out pretty quickly. And the chef, you can take him out pretty quickly as well. I think what helped me not sour my view of the game was that I played it on the hardest difficulty they offered, like right at the beginning, whereas I think a lot of people played it on an easier difficulty, and that really made it so that you didn't have to think too much when encountering these enemies, which I think is a problem. The harder difficulty really, at least for me, it was challenging. But if you play it on anything easier than what I played it on, you're going to have so much ammo, and you're not going to really need to think too much. Which I think a lot of the EFAP guys did. It's like, why take the time to figure out an enemy's weakness and watch them when you can just shoot them in the face and they die. Because I'm playing in casual mode right now, so I went from the hardest difficulty they offered at the beginning to the easiest, and man, these zombies go down easy. Two bullets to the chest and they're done. And you have unlimited saves. And I have to say, it is pretty refreshing. It is a deep chasm. Yeah. Yep. I wanted the ink ribbons. I wanted that experience. I don't know. I don't know what the standard was called, but whatever they offered you at the beginning, I played the hardest version of it. Whatever they offered. In Insanity, they do expect you to get some of the unlockables, but unlike in Resident Evil 8, the only thing that carries over from playthrough to playthrough are the unlockables. In Resident Evil 8, your entire kit got like full New Game Plus. And that is not the case. It is a very deep chasm. New Game Plus and Seek the Sky. I don't know if you joined right when I said it, but the rotation of games for right now is we're gonna do today and tomorrow will be Majora's Mask. Sunday off. Monday, Tuesday we'll continue Metroid Prime 3. And then Wednesday, Thursday will be Resident Evil days. Ooh, that's a good question. My guess is probably Pinnacle Rock. As far as assets go, there's not much here. You can get away with a lot more open space. It is a pretty big area of the game, for sure. Sorry, I don't remember which of these have creatures in them, or the. These things always kind of creep me out as a kid, which have the Zora eggs in them. Ooh, treasure. I'm playing it on Portal. I'm playing it on the 2-ship 2 Harkinian port, which is the PC port of this game, which is why I can look so crisp and I can have all these cool HD textures. Hang on one second, I gotta expand my chat a bit so I can see what's going on. I mean, to RE9's credit, they do describe easy mode as a stress... Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I'm not faulting it for that. But there is a one of the guys on EFAP did mention how there is a growing trend in gaming, and this kind of has to do with the difficulty accessibility area, where games are trying to let the player play the way they want to, and trying to give them options, where sometimes that might not be the best thing to do for the game itself, and I'll expound more on that in a second. If I threw Pinnacle Rock into a blender, what could I fit in it, I guess? A bigger fish. A much bigger fish. That's what you could fit. Well, I mean, Seek the Sky, this is a PC port now, which means they recompiled everything, I think, in C#. So if you know C# or it's C++, I can't remember which, you should be able to do some pretty crazy stuff. I'm surprised there's not more mods out for this right now. But the Twilight Princess PC port is nearly complete. So that's going to be something I'm definitely going to play on this channel. Oh, sorry. Okay, there we go. Larry Puss, what an unfortunate name, unless it's pronounced Puce. And the lead dev, Thomas, of the No Rest for the Wicked, got into really depth conversation about difficulty versus accessibility topic. Yeah, I want... share that with me, because I do want to listen to it. Because, okay, so... I've said this before. My biggest complaint with Echoes of Wisdom was how the the sword, using the hero sword, was basically became a degenerate strategy. It was the best way to get through 99% of the fights. Even some of the bosses, you rarely had to think about echoes. But that could be seen as a sort of built-in kind of easy mode, based on the criteria that I laid forth in previous videos. And so now I'm thinking this needs to be more nuanced, because I still think what holds true is that, you know, the game mechanics should complement one another, not detract. And the whole built-in easy mode system that the No Rest for the Wicked guy lays out, or sorry, that the guy critiquing No Way in that other video you shared, Eamon, I think definitely holds true, but there has to come to a point where there's trade-offs so that the difficulty changes if you're playing it in a certain way. And I'm not quite sure what that is. When I played Echoes of Wisdom, I just spammed level 3 Dark Nuts. I just got a bunch of shakes and I spammed the hero and killed everything really quick, and it was way more fun for me. Well, it's not really a video. It's a video, a bunch of Twitter. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, send me the link to that. Pretty please. With sugar on top. Da 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 da. Yeah, games lose their identity by having more than one difficulty. I think it depends more on when that difficulty is introduced. So, I think Resident Evil 9 would have been called too hard if they only had the top difficulty that they offer you right at the start. I think that the top difficulty at the start was what they designed. That's the identity of the game, and then they scaled it back from there. That's what I think happened. They made the hardest baseline difficulty first, and then they scaled it back so that you could play it on however you wanted. And I do think that, you know, how we joked about how the casual difficulty was like, if you want a stressless experience, play this one. It's like, then why are you playing a Resident Evil game? Why are you playing this game if you want a stressless experience? And therefore, the identity of the game is not in the casual mode. You know, Silk Song, they didn't give you a choice. You just had to play the game. And if you got stuck, they were just like, go explore. You'll find better ways to do things, and you'll either sink or swim. So, that I think is very true. Resident Evil, I do think it's fine to give different difficulty settings after the game is already complete. Like after you force the players to experience the game as you, the developer, intend it, then you can introduce different difficulty settings, I think. Or like do the Ninja Gaiden route and give them ninja dog mode if they are if they're really, really struggling. You know, give them the option and insult them at the same time. Kind of spurs you on to not use it. Could you imagine if RE9 copied Steel Solo mode from Silksong. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, because there are people, you know, who run through the whole... There are people already speed running the game. They've already broken the game. New Way Bossa Nova. Left, up, left, right. Left, up, left, right, down. Left, right. Left, up, left, right, down, left, right. Left, up, left, right, down. Sorry guys, hang on a second. It's right, up, right. I'm sorry, left, up, left, right, down, left, right. There we go. Metal Arms glitch in system. The like easy mode is the intended mode. Normal, hard, and nuts of steel are just cruel. Seek did a run of Metal Arms on hard mode was pretty punishing, right? Like the video of the Hollow Live girls doing so poorly in the opening of Devil May Cry 3. They unlocked easy mode. Yeah, exactly, like the one you sent me. Of course, then you get into the argument of, again, so if Resident Evil 9 had only released that one mode, the game would have retained its soul and more people would have gotten to experience what I would say is a closer to the identity of true Resident Evil, but it would have turned some people away. And that does not... and the game probably would have gotten a bit more critically reviewed and not considered one of the best games of all time. Like, the score on Metacritic right now is insane. It is one of the highest rated games on Metacritic. It's a good game. I think it's a good game. It's decent. If you like Resident Evil, you'll like it. It's not perfect by any means. The story's really convoluted. I still don't understand the motivation of the main antagonist. But I think it's because they gave the players the chance to play it the way they wanted to that makes more people drawn to it. And, you know, numbers are a thing for sure, but it's not the only metric when discussing the quality of a game. NOS difficulty, from what I've heard, is absolutely insane. From what I've experienced, exactly. A lot of people have made that comment on one of my shorts, that this is for game journalists. I think the first half of RE9 is decent, but goes downhill the further again. It really comes off as though they had two different games and then were working on and just mashed them together in the end. Yeah, that's kind of how I thought. I thought that I just wanted more. I wanted more depth out of it, and I think. So one thing that Mahler said in his review that I absolutely agree with is that, you know the saying, something is greater than the sum of its parts. I think in a weird way, and I won't spoil anything, nerdtorials, don't worry, but I think in a weird way, Resident Evil 9 is less than the sum of its parts, if that makes any sense. I think kind of like how Metroid Prime 4 was very hindered by trying to be too many things at once. It was trying to be Halo and Metroid Prime and Breath of the Wild, and it ended up hurting every aspect of the game beyond that. Metroid Prime 4. This game, because they had to keep it within the same game length of traditional Resident Evil, so which encourages replays, which they're actually pretty good at. Capcom really has nailed the replayability aspect of their games, but because of that, we couldn't get more of the hospital. We couldn't get more of the zombies behaving like their old self. We couldn't get more of the pursuer enemies. We couldn't get more of the weapon system for Leon, because they tried to mesh two together. And I think it would have been almost better if we got kind of like the scenario system that they had in Resident Evil 2, where you play the game once through as Grace, and then you play it again as Leon. A waste of magic. New Game Plus says, R.I.P. Pirates. Oh no, sorry, that's Seek the Sky. New Game Plus says, stupid idea. From what I've seen, progression in the open world in MP4 definitely gives me Wind Waker vibes, but only the third act of the game. I will say it gives Wind Waker vibes in the sense that it's big and open, but Wind Waker had way more like draw of mystery into the world. I loved exploring that ocean as a kid, but they're just, and yes, the majority of it was empty, but it also there just wasn't enough there. There wasn't enough to there was no draw to discover anything. The environmental storytelling in the desert was just non-existent. But anyway, New Game Plus and Secret Sky, did you guys get a chance to actually play Metroid Prime 4 yet? Because I know that you guys didn't watch because you didn't want any spoilers, which is fine. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not looking forward to this temple. I've never actually really enjoyed this temple. I prefer the water temple, actually, in Ocarina of Time to this temple. Okay, here's a fun question. Do you have the blister heads in Raccoon City bit if they've been dormant for decades? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm sure there's a lot of questions like that will resurface. Just remove everything except the rupee grind. Yeah. Nope. A certain game reviewer reacted by saying I'd rather drown. If you're okay, Seek the Sky and New Game Plus, if you haven't played it yet, I know you guys are big fans of the series, I think you should play it. Not out of any devotion to it, just you should experience it. I had to experience it. Oh, come on. Ugh. Sorry, guys. We'll get it this time. Not missing anything, am I? Okay, good. It's like 4 is the number of death in franchises. Sonic 4, Toy Story 4, Metroid Prime 4. But not Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 reinvigorated the franchise. By some big stroke of luck. Okay. Or Delatrune Chapter 4. Never played that game. Fast 4 from Fast and the Furious franchise. The camp of not crap. Okay. What am I doing? Not Goron. Don't want Goron. Alright, here we go. Whoop, whoop. I not played Delatrune. Oh, I think we had this conversation. No, I have not played Undertale. I know Undertale, but I've not played it. And you told me to play Undertale first, and then you berated me for not playing it. Was that one of those episodic games that they released, like, Chapter 1, buy it for $3.99, and then they released Chapter 2, and then you buy Chapter 2? Fast and Furious, Fast 2, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and Fast and the Furious. Wait, Fast and Furious 1, 2... Oh, I need the ice arrows. That's right. That's right. Ah, it's all coming back to me. Not really though. Oh, they're completely free. Oh, that's see. They're trying to get you hooked. First hit is always free. Imagine if they did it like Fast and Furious. That's good. I like that. The Fast and the Furious. Yeah, I should have named it Fast. Undertale is one of those games that took off during the initial indie storm years ago. It's a decent game, but many find it pretentious or flat out boring. It's hit or miss for most. Pretentious. I remember back when I was a middle school teacher, I remember some of my students raving about it. And then Hollow Knight, and then I played Hollow Knight and loved it. I do this to my kids sometimes when I'm about to give them something. I do. I just made that harder on myself. Fast and Furious. These platforms. Yeah, I know, right? Jeez. Yeah. I'm sure I had many unfinished thoughts. this play. So sorry if I started a conversation and didn't finish it. I'm pretty sure you can beat this temple with only switching the water once. I don't think I've ever done that though. Any hidden fairies here? Come here, clan. Bombchu just running around. An Octorok. No, it's an Octork. Excuse me. What do you want, Tattle? If you could somehow step on the top of the Octorok, I bet you'd be able to... Oh yeah, that's right. I remember. Oh, and this has the classic Zelda enemy of... You gotta run around in a circle and hit a big Octork in the butt. What a horrible existence that Bombchu has. Here's an interesting thought. Are 3D Metroidvanias just Zelda-like? I want to say no, because usually they aren't as segmented. If that makes any sense. I mean, they are, but you have less of the illusion of the segment. Like, what's a other than Metroid Prime, what's a 3D Metroidvania? I can't think of any. I mean, technically you could say a survival horror is a Metroidvania game. I mean, now that I think about it, you could make an argument that something like Resident Evil 7 is much closer in play style to Metroid Prime than anything else. It's first person. You're wandering around a big maze. Mini boss. Oh wait, I forgot. Can I can throw bombs at it, right? Isn't that knock? No. I thought there was a way I could knock down a lot of them at the same time. Oh yeah, I can just do that. Just spam this attack. It's kind of the point. Once you go 3D, Metroidvania just sort of turn into a Zelda game. Well, I don't know. I think it has to do a lot with the structure of the game. Because I wouldn't consider. I would say like Metroid Prime 4 is definitely more like a Zelda game than any of the other Metroidvanias. Simply because of how it's separated out. But I mean, it is worth talking about because I think it has to do with how it's all about locks and keys, right? Even in Zelda games. It's like, how are those locks and keys distributed throughout the world? Zelda games tend to be a bit more linear. Like you have to beat the temples in a certain way, and they're really, you know, focused on that. Metroid games are also pretty linear, but the path that players take to get to those linear doors that they need to unlock can be very different. Whereas in Zelda games, every player is going to take pretty much the same path. Whereas in a Metroidvania, that path is different depending on... Can I shoot it in the eye now? I feel like there's a faster way to do this. Yes, there is. Sorry, talking and playing. There we go. Yeah. Well, let's think of Hollow Knight. Would it play more like a Zelda game if it turned 3D? No, I don't think so. I mean, if all you did was give the environments a 3D sheen to it, there's no... I mean, the thing about a Metroidvania is, okay, so a Zelda dungeon. A Zelda dungeon is less linear, not in the sense of like you have to get this and then do this and then do this. There are the steps to beating the dungeon, but there's usually, again, you have the freedom to explore, and the path to each of those areas is not linear. Players can take whatever path they want for in a dungeon that's designed well, I would say. Sorry, in a dungeon that's designed to do so. I don't want to say assign a quality to it just yet, because one of my favorite dungeons in Ocarina of Time is the Shadow Temple, and it is has a very linear progression. Whereas a Metroidvania, has it where the whole game itself is in a sense a Zelda dungeon. That's why people didn't like the blend the trend of Metroid Prime 3 going towards more segmented areas, because each one was a huge Zelda dungeon essentially. So, I mean, just turning Hollow Knight into 3D wouldn't make it a Zelda game. But if you segmented it more and put, you know, an overworld and then clear areas where you had to go and beat the temple, then yeah, it would be a Zelda game, I think. But I think the difference is the structure. The temples play out the same way. How you use the lock and key items plays out the same way. It's just the structure of the game, I think, really makes it different. A different genre. Oops. It's like in a Zelda game, when you leave a temple, the temple is the main environmental stressor. The temple or the dungeon. And then when you get out of the temple, that stressor is released. And then you're free to explore and try to get to the main area again. And, you know, it's the safer area. Not safe, completely safe, but safer. Whereas in a Metroidvania, it's everywhere. There's really no real safe space, except for maybe save rooms or certain designated areas where you can go to be safe. But that's not an area you're meant to explore. It's an area you're meant to kind of recuperate in and then go back out. Whereas a main part of Zelda games is the kind of it's the sky, it's the Great Sea, it's Termina Field, it's Hyrule Field, it's the overworld. It's not completely safe, but it does give you more freedom to kind of just explore and wander around and recuperate. I don't know. I could be wrong now that I'm thinking about it, but I do think there is a distinction, and I think the big distinction is structure. Who's right on the money, me or... I need to know if I'm right, guys. I do this for approval of strangers on the internet. When I start talking to my wife about this stuff, she's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Personally, Metroidvanias are defined by their interconnected world and backtracking. Fine. So, yeah, because yes. I totally agree with that, and I'm definitely going to be thinking about this more. Yes, New Game... Oh, thank you. Thanks, New Game Plus. I have to redeem myself with video game knowledge, because my play skills are not up to snuff. Anyway, sorry guys, we got to end a bit early today. Tomorrow, more Majora's Mask. Sunday is day off, and Monday we'll pick up Metroid Prime 3 again. And then we'll get back into Resident Evil. Resident Evil is going to be a bit disjointed. because I'm playing it through on my own just to kind of get through easier modes. So I'll try to update my schedule and post it so people can see it, and then when we're done with whichever game we get done with first, Metroid Prime 3 or Majora's Mask, we'll put some indie game demo slots in there for a couple weeks, and then we'll pick up another game, maybe retro game or some newer game or whatever. Yeah, I love this. I could just watch this. It's so nice. This game has so much charm to it. Heart and soul. Okay. Thanks for hanging out, guys. New Game Plus, Seek the Sky. It was good to see you again. Thanks for rejoining. Eamon, as always. Tim, as always. Nerdporial, if you're still here, thanks for hanging out. If you're just hanging out in the chat, drop a hello, subscribe, follow, wherever. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all tomorrow.